guys again for tuning in to A Marriage That Works. I am Teresa.
I'm Byron.
Thank you guys so much again for tuning in to our last video. Byron and I was talking about part 4, right, honey? Of getting through those relationship crises. If you haven't got an opportunity to check it out, please do so on our YouTube channel. And as well, we are moving on to the working stage. And of course, Byron and I was just sharing on, man, you know, when we was just going back thinking about the working stage, and it took us some time to get there, right, honey? But we did finally get there. So man, this is a great phase to be in, because at this point, as Byron and I was discussing a little while ago, man, you just at this point you're learning how to work together, you know, as a couple, as partners. And that does not mean that you're not going to still have those fallouts or those arguments, but man, now they're to the point to where you are controlling yourself. You're not out of control. You're allowing yourself to think about what you're thinking, you know, and you begin to think about your partner, you know, how you can be supportive, how you can be encouraging, how you can be, you know, that that extra, you know, helping, I guess you can say a helping hand, in the sense of what can I do to help and assist.
Right. You know, the working phase to me, so now keep this in mind. So now you're transitioning out of that crisis phase into that working phase. What that means is you guys have come to a place where, in a sense, you understand who you are and what your responsibilities and your contributions are to the relationship, right? So you understand, hey, that I'm husband, you know, and here are, you know, in a sense, my roles and responsibilities and my contributions to the marriage. I am the wife, and here are my roles and responsibility and my contributions to the marriage. And now, because see, in order to be a team, there are positions in a team, and so in those functional areas, you know, there are roles and responsibilities. And now you have more of a concept of what those roles and responsibilities are, and now you're playing your role. Right now you're beginning to work together. Now there's synergy in what you're doing, right? And so that becomes key to you all progressing forward and learning how to work together, right? It's like that locomotive when it's starting to take off, right? So now you guys,
you're in sync.
You're in steam. You know, you have steam and you're starting to truck forward. So it's really a good place to be, because now you understand both of you are leaders, right, in the relationship, and now you know what your role as a leader, you know what your role as a leader, and now you guys are starting to really gain momentum, and things are starting to move forward. Your finances are starting to look better. Your peace is starting to settle. So it's really a fun place to be. Now when you're working, now you're building, right? So it's an exceptional place to be, and I look forward actually this weekend to really digging into it a little bit more, right? So
and just sharing in some of our own when we began to notice that we were in the working phase, because you know, there are some key components that indicate that, you know, you're there, like Byron shared about the crisis stage. That's also key indicators that, you know, that lets us know that we're shifting and moving into a different area of our relationship, which is very, very you know, good to know, because I was thinking about, you know, I remember just a real short story, you know, when Byron and I, one of our toughest areas, of course, was finances, and I think I shared that on one of our other videos, and that being said, you know, we didn't see eye to eye on you know, giving, because I didn't have the understanding, or whatever, revelation, if you want to say, behind giving. So we constantly clashed. But now, you know, because of the growth place that we were in through my own relationship with Christ, I began to understand why it's important to give and why we couldn't afford not to give. So that was a real key component for me personally, to help you know, like Byron said, our finances began to look a lot better, because that was one of our challenge areas. And I will always go, man, 1 Peter 5:7. When the Lord said, cast all your anxieties and cares on me because I care for you. Because I was so fearful, you know, and full of anxiety when I didn't understand about giving. But man, the more I continued to confess that, when I saw Byron, you know, giving, because he always had and always have had a giving heart. So now I was able to be in agreement, in line with Byron in his giving, you know, and not be fearful about it, because God really began to give me that peace. And you just mentioned that peace that begins to come into your relationship when you're working together as partners. Yeah.
So you hear how that sounds. So you remember when I said, or when we talked about in that last phase, right?
Yeah.
Where maybe you're not, you know, your values or your cultures or things are not aligned.
Yes.
And in this phase, you're really beginning to align more. You're really starting to understand your lane.
Yeah.
You know, again, your contributions to the relationship. You're starting to settle more into your values.
Yes.
Right? Your cultural backgrounds, or you know, are starting to are more blended, and you're more in sync. So again, man, it's a great place to be, because now you're not, you know, you're growing in your level of maturity. You're not arguing as much. You know, you're comfortable with you're starting to feel a little bit more comfortable in your partner's role as well.
You're becoming more familiar with them.
You're not trying to control their lane,
Yes.
and you know, and vice versa. So it's really a fun place to be, right? Because you know, because now again, it's not tense anymore. You got more peace. I mean, it's really a great place to be.
Yeah.
So again, this weekend, man, we're really going to dig into this, get some scriptures to support what we're talking about in terms of that working phase. And so that, again, we'll come up with some, or we'll introduce the identifiers to know what that working phase looks like. And I think you're really going to enjoy what we're going to teach.
Yeah, so guys, again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Marriage That Works. And as always, thank you so much for your feedback, and of course the questions are being asked. And Byron, I really appreciate it. So we look forward to seeing you again on our next video. Remember, your marriage can only work
if you work it.
Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye.